I could see Moses exploding forward and catching him and ending this fight before it gets started. And the other thing I could also see is Dillian Whyte.
But maybe Dillian Whyte, if he survived, first rounds, maybe he can give him a good test and a good fight, if he comes ready.
If you flip on the other side, for a fighter who's been inactive and for a fighter who is at the latter end of the career, that's not the kind of fight that you want. You don't want these buzzsaws.
There's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light at the end of that tunnel. Not kidding. No, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
He's got the fight of his life on Saturday night, and all of this chat about Usyk, that could all disappear in the space of one Dillian Whyte left hook. So I think it's kind of one fight at a time.
Boxing legends weigh in, and their final calls might just surprise you ahead of Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte.
I think it's good night, Mr. Whyte.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that the matchmaking's great for him?
Not for Dillian, I don't know. I think it's great for Moses because ultimately he gets a decent name like Dillian Whyte on his resume, which isn't the Dillian Whyte that was fighting 2 or 3 years ago.
While much of the boxing community is showering praise on Moses Itauma, David Haye has thrown his support behind Dillian Whyte. Haye points out that Whyte has faced a long list of tough opponents in the past, and he's 100% confident that this time will be no different. Whyte will give Itauma a real challenge. He's noticed that Whyte looks tougher and sharper than he did in his last 2 fights, and based on his preparations, Haye can clearly see him coming out on top.
100%. 100% Dillian Whyte. If he's paid the price in training, if he's taken it seriously, which by all accounts he has, he doesn't want to be going out getting knocked out by a 21-year-old novice. That's not on the script for him. He's not believing that. He's been there, seen it, done it. He's mixed it with the best in sparring and in championship fights. Well, he's fought the very, very best and always given a good account of himself. And he has the ability to win this fight because he's so experienced. Does he still have that magic? I haven't seen it in his last 2 fights. But physically, he looks in a different place to those last 2 fights.
Francis Warren, while reviewing the fight, shared his perspective, noting that this matchup carries a lot of jeopardy, with both fighters eager to prove their dominance. In his view, Moses Itauma has the chance to climb the rankings and accelerate his professional growth. But Dillian Whyte is equally a force to be reckoned with, given his track record of facing some of the biggest names in boxing.
I think it's a great fight for Moses. In terms of what he gets out of this, I think matchmaking is all about risk reward, and I think there is definitely jeopardy in this fight because of Dillian's pedigree and experience, and the fact that he's been there and done it over so many years. He's been in with the biggest names in the game, fared well against all of them, even in the defeats he's had. But if you look at the potential rewards and getting a win. For Moses, they're huge. Name recognition, respect, rankings, career progression.
Dev Sani, while sharing his thoughts on this mega fight, highlighted the impressive career trajectory of Moses Itauma, noting that he has a strong team behind him to guide and support his rise. However, despite all the praise, Sani issued a stern warning to Itauma. All the talk and hype could vanish the moment Dillian Whyte steps in with his powerful left hook. In his view, that single shot could be enough to decide the winner, making it a serious factor for Moses to consider.
He's very well positioned with the WBO, clearly, so, Frank, Francis, they are manoeuvring him in such a way, and when they decide it's time to pull the trigger, they'll pull the trigger. But before that, he's got the fight of his life on Saturday night, and all of this chat about Usyk, that could all disappear in the space of one Dillian Whyte left hook. So I think it's kind of one fight at a time.
Teddy Atlas, while breaking down the fight, predicted that he sees Moses Itauma coming forward and ending the bout with Dillian Whyte before it really gets going. In his view, the odds makers will be proven wrong as Moses gets the job done early. Atlas also pointed out several flaws in Dillian Whyte's fighting style, which he believes will be the key obstacles preventing Whyte from securing a win.
I can see Moses exploding forward and catching him and ending this fight before it gets started. And the other thing I could also see is Dillian Whyte, defensively, when you chuck at his head, he'll bend, he'll weave, he'll roll. The problem is, I don't think he was ever taught the proper technique where you bend your knees to roll.
Dillian Whyte's old rival, Derek Chisora, isn't just backing Moses Itauma. He's painting the picture of a looming disaster for Whyte. Chisora spoke bluntly about the matchup, making it clear that, in his eyes, there's no scenario where Whyte walks away with a happy ending.
There's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light at that tunnel. Not kidding. No, you mad? No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
The cautionary chatter began because everyone knows Dillian Whyte is a rugged fighter who thrives on going to war in the ring. But in this clash, many feel that every approach could backfire. Moses Itauma is young, explosive, and brimming with confidence. There's a belief that if Whyte chooses to trade shots, Itauma could land clean and end the fight in a flash. And while Whyte's experience is undeniable, plenty of voices suggest that his opponent's youth and relentless energy might prove to be a major hurdle.
I think it's good night, Mr. Whyte.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that the matchmaking's great for him?
Not for Dillian, I don't know. I think it's great for Moses because ultimately he gets a decent name like Dillian Whyte on his resume, which isn't the Dillian Whyte that was fighting 2 or 3 years ago. If he blasts him out, which I think he will, then Moses, the mythology around Moses just gets bigger and wider and more bankable.
There'll be a bit of hype around the fight as well, which will raise Moses' profile too.
Yeah.
Another question for you then. So if you say it's not good matchmaking for Dillian Whyte, where would you put Dillian Whyte then? That's what I'm saying. Like, what opportunity is going to come from?
Well, the last time I opened my mouth about Whyte, I put him in with Fabio Wardley and got smacked around everybody for being a bit of a tit. So I'm not even going to answer that question. Thanks very much.
Brilliant.
Some pundits are questioning what's next for Dillian Whyte. Former world champion Sean Porter pointed out that this fight could reveal a lot about whether Whyte should start thinking about hanging up the gloves. He's been in the game a long time, faced some of the biggest names, and gone through plenty of tough wars. If things don't go his way here, it might signal that his career is nearing the end. With age catching up, the wear and tear on his body, and a wave of younger fighters rising, many are wondering if he can still hold his own at the top level.
Yeah, like you're right. Like, you know, times have changed. This kid gets past Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
Respect to Dillian Whyte, and I'm known for retiring fighters. I retired Dillian Whyte in my mind about 3 years ago. But respectfully, the dude probably should have been retired closer to 5 years ago. That is something that we're gonna get from Dillian Whyte on Fight Night is the big overhands and the big hooks. He's a classic heavyweight fighter. I just don't want him taking those heavyweight shots anymore. That's my thing with the kid, and I hate to see that from someone like like Dillian Whyte. You just get to a point where if you're not here, these guys coming up, it's like the difference between me and Dillian Whyte is I'm sparring with these guys with hair gears on, and I'm taking my time. Even with when I first started sparring with Kenny Sims, I was in for 2 rounds, out for a round or 2, and back in. You know what I mean? I'm taking care of myself.
On the other hand, heavyweight contender Filip Hrgović isn't counting Dillian Whyte out just yet. He believes Whyte has what it takes to push Itauma into the later rounds, the kind of long, exhausting fight that could test the young boxer's stamina and mindset. If Whyte can weather the early storm and stretch the fight out, he might be able to turn things around in his favor. Still, Hrgović admits it won't be easy, as Itauma is known for starting fast and landing big shots early.
And Dillian Whyte is brave, tough guy, but only question is in what shape he will come to the fight. He didn't fight so much in the last few years, and we'll see. It's a good test for Itauma, and he should win that. But maybe Dillian Whyte, if he survive, first rounds, maybe he can give him a good test and a good fight, if he comes ready.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. shared a different take on the fight. He pointed out that while Moses Itauma is clearly talented, he's still very young, and stepping into the heavyweight fire too early could be dangerous. In simple terms, no matter how good Itauma looks, facing a veteran like Whyte is no small task. Heavyweights carry serious power, and one punch can turn everything around. Jones believes Itauma still has plenty to learn, but there's no doubt the skill and potential are there.
Haven't seen a lot of him. I have seen small clips of him, but he's fighting a good fight with Dillian Whyte right now. This is the fight he needs to get the extra experience. So once he gets a few more experience fights, then you put him in an Usyk. You can't do like they did with the other kid, Big Baby from the U.S., and put him in too early because you're ruining him. You understand me? You can't put him in too early like that. So if you give him a few more test runs, Dillian Whyte is a great test run for him. If he does that, give him something a little bit higher than that.
Trainer Dave Coldwell also shared his thoughts, saying Dillian Whyte is definitely the underdog in this fight. He described Moses Itauma as a buzzsaw, fast, aggressive, and powerful, a style that can break opponents down quickly. For Whyte to have a chance, Coldwell feels he'll need to use his experience wisely, stay out of too many punch exchanges, and try to plant some doubt in Itauma's mind as the rounds go on. Still, even he admits that at least on paper, Itauma seems to be the clear favorite.
I think timing is everything in boxing, and just think the timing, you look at the trajectory of both fighters, what's been happening over the last couple of years for both fighters, I just think everything's stacked in Moses' favour. You add Moses' style, he's not a plodder, he's not a I'm going to grind you down sort of fighter. He's very sharp, triggers, makes you react, fries your brain, makes you open yourself up with your reactions, because his feints are very, very good and sharp. If you flip on the other side, for a fighter who's been inactive and for a fighter who is at the latter end of the career, that's not the kind of fight that you want. You don't want these buzzsaws.
Not everyone is fully convinced. Former heavyweight contender Dave Allen shared his view, pointing out both the risks and chances in this fight. He thinks Moses Itauma has what it takes to win, but says the pace and flow of the fight will be the real deciding factor. If Itauma can control the speed, stop Whyte from setting the tone, and avoid getting pulled into wild exchanges, he should be able to take the victory. Still, Allen warns that Whyte's veteran tricks, rough clinches, hard body shots, and sudden bursts of power could change everything in a split second.
Within the years, like pretty soon, he's not boxed anybody yet, really. He's not boxed anyone inside the top 50. Usyk's still around. You still got Dubois, still got Fury. These are all going to be around for the next 12 months, so I think he could, but we haven't really seen him get hit back. He hasn't been hit back. He hasn't been pushed hard. He hasn't gone the rounds. He hasn't really boxed anyone above domestic level.
On the flip side, Moses Itauma's rapid rise has drawn comparisons to some of boxing's biggest stars. Former world champion Tony Bellew even mentioned a heavyweight many consider bigger than boxing itself, though he doubts Itauma will ever reach that level. While it might sound like criticism, it also shows how high the bar is set and how much is expected from the young fighter.
Joshua had it all, yeah. Commercials had everything, really.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you won't see a boxer who's the face of Lynx, who's the face of Under Armour, who's the face of Lucas Aid, who's the face Hugo Boss in a fight or two.
And he knocks out Usyk.
No, well, Joshua's bigger than boxing, though. Joshua's bigger than boxing.
This boy goes to Nigeria and shuts the country down.
Yeah.
This boy, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's the country, like, he won an Olympic gold medal in his country in front of millions. The face of the heavyweight division. You've got to remember, to put it into simple terms, look what Tyson Fury done when he went to Germany.
Fight analysts are divided on how this one will go. Some believe Moses Itauma's youth, hunger, and quick movement will make the difference, thinking Whyte's prime might be behind him and the speed gap will be too much. Others feel Itauma's lack of top-level experience could show, and that Whyte's power, the kind that can change a fight with a single punch, will keep him dangerous from start to finish.
It's a very difficult fight for him. You can't afford to bite on Itauma's triggers and feints. He's got to land something early to get some respect off of Moses as well. And it's called the body snatcher. I think he's got to dig that body. He's got to try and take away the sharpness from Itauma by investing early doors, on the body. He's got fast feet, sharp angles. You need to slow that down. And if Dillian's got enough left, then that's what he's going to have to do. Dillian's got a good jab himself. Might not be razor blade sharp, but he needs to be knocking Moses' head back.
With Fight Night closing in, the tension is only getting higher. The clash of youthful ambition against veteran grit has all the ingredients for pure drama. The heated talk, the divided predictions, and the high stakes for both men's careers all point to a fight that could be remembered for a long time. No matter which fighter fans are backing, most agree on one thing: this bout won't be boring. Itauma will aim to show that speed, preparation, and skill can beat experience and raw power, while Whyte will try to prove that a seasoned warrior with knockout punch power is never out of the fight.
His job's to not get hit.
Absolutely.
You know, and I know that we're all crying out, oh, I want to see what he looks like.
But he's
when
going to get hit at
someone whacks
some
him.
point, isn't he?
Yeah, when he comes up against, you know.
He's going to get hit at some point, and I got a little fight myself, Giorgio Visioli. No one's hit him. O'Hara Davis caught him with a lovely backhand at the beginning. It was nice for me as his coach to see how he reacted. Now I'm sure Ben Davison's, seen him. He can't dodge every shot in it, So he's going to get hit from time to time. So that's how you build a Moses Itauma and a Giorgio Visioli. They've got to be built in the gym.
Yeah.
In the gym.
You listen, he's just said it. Mark knows his onions, doesn't he? You know
of course he does.
He will, at this moment in time, he will 100% have had harder spars than he has had fight.
And when the dust settles, only one man will walk away with his hand raised. Either the young lion proving he's ready to rule, or the battle-hardened veteran showing he's still king of the jungle. Whatever happens, this fight promises firework, and fans won't forget it anytime soon. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more fight previews, predictions, and all the latest from the boxing world, make sure to like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, where real fight fans talk about real boxing.